Welcome everybody tonight. Today is Monday, March 3rd, 2015. This is episode 2 of MogTalk, which is just a quick discussion between friends and about news and the last few things that happened over the week. There wasn't a lot that happened last week, but we'll get into some of it. This is again episode 2, third technically if you want to include the pilot like Jack wants to. And if you guys notice anything that you want to change in the podcast, I guess is the best way to call it, let me know. Send me messages on Twitch, YouTube, wherever you want to send them. And tonight we'll be talking again about Gold Saucer, not Golden Saucer, as I've been very much told. It is Gold Saucer. I can't believe I messed that up so much on the last one, but what can I do? Tonight I have Jack Green with me and Kerberos.
Hello.
They are joining me via Skype tonight so we can see their beautiful faces. And I want to get right into it, actually. I want to start talking about Golden Saucer because there's a lot of things I have to say about Golden Saucer. There's a lot of good things. There's only a few bad things, but mostly good. And Jack, what's your overall impression right now of Golden Saucer?
Gotta collect them all.
Gotta collect them all. Just lots of collecting with Triple Triad. What about do you feel like that's the main focus right now, or is overall Gold Saucer a real good package?
I enjoy it. I really do. I mean, the main focus does seem to be on Triple Triad, as there's more to it. It's something that's going to continue to grow. Chocobo Racing, it's not I can't. Well, at least in my opinion, it's not as addicting as I thought it would be, but it's still something fun to dip into. I mean, and then you have the small mini games. It's just something to do. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
they're not as fun as I thought they were.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot going into it. Yeah, sometimes I'm going to say golden, and if you guys see me, just call me out on it. Call me a punk. Because I need to get it out of my system. I don't know if I just like grew up when I was young and I kept calling it Golden Saucer, and I was just I was a challenged youth maybe, and I just couldn't get it right in my head during Final Fantasy VII. But we'll see.
To quote Reddit, somebody said, "It's gold, not golden, you amateur."
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. Actually, that's the only person who commented anything, which I'm really surprised. But you know, I take it to heart because I still think it's a pretty big mistake. But either way, Kerr, what's your impression of Gold Saucer? I know you haven't had a lot of experience with it recently. You've been kind of busy with school and other things, but I mean, it's the main focus of the last week with Final Fantasy, right?
Yes.
All right. Now,
Just kidding. I've done Chocobo Racing, Triple Triad, one gate so far. It's all pretty fun. I really like the mini jackpot because I'm really poor and it's the best way to make points. So I think the highest I have right now is 1,600 points. So
More than I have. I have like
hey.
700.
yeah.
You said you got a gold pack, so that's my problem.
I can't even afford a gold pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the MGP is rough. I think that grind is pretty rough. Only you really notice it when you're grinding for cards and you're going really hard at it. It's just kind of an extra thing that comes up. But I think MGP is rough right now. It's way more of a grind than anything else to get a Cloud Strife card, I think. It will probably take people, I don't know, I'm almost at 100,000. So if I grind it really hard for 10 weeks, like I did previously, maybe I could do it in 5 or 6 weeks. 2 months of just straight grinding, I could probably get that card. Or if I won the lottery. So
you guys want to know what's funny? Brick, it took him like 150 wins to get a Bahamut card. And it took me like 3 wins to get like...
RNG.
myself.
Yeah. RNG is a killer. It is
Two
rough.
World of Darkness runs and I get an Onion Knight card. Haters gonna hate.
Exactly. That's ridiculous. It'll probably take me 20 to 50 runs to get it, but
Yeah.
what can I do? I mean, literally on the first day, I spent I would say 10 hours between work and trying to do schoolwork and everything, just grinding King Elmer as much as I can to get that Bahamut card. And on the first day, after spending 10 hours of Triple Triad, I had 11 cards. So
Hey.
it was kind of depressing. But going into one of the first topics I want to talk about actually is Chocobo Racing. I kind of want to get into a little bit more detail with that. And I actually took the little picture I have here. And Jack, if you're looking at the stream, I don't know if you are or not, you'll see it here in a second off Reddit. And you can see the NPC that's kind of sitting there talking to a little Chocobo saying, old enough to waddle, old enough to race.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
great.
looking at the stream. Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
love it. And there's actually a lot of NPCs that you'll notice are just Easter eggs around the entire gold saucer. Like I think they have a good handful of the Chocobo Racing NPCs from Final Fantasy VII just hanging out. You just have to look for them. But on actual Chocobo Racing, I kind of want to know what your thoughts are on it, Jack.
Again, it's something that's fun to dip into. If someone wants to go, to main it, they can. It's something they definitely can do. As a source for MGP points, or MGP, sorry, uh, it's not going to give you a whole lot, but it's going to give you at least enough for, like, if you wanted to start breeding, you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something fun to do. And then, I mean, obviously, when we had our little Gold Saucer Sundays, it was something fun to go into. It was very competitive. It's very competitive for sure.
Oh yeah. And that was a lot of fun with it. I mean, just even though those people just completely ripped us apart, it was fun.
Sir Dan was super salty.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
After all those briar patches, I'd be salty too.
Yeah. Kerr, I know you had a few runs with Chocobo Racing. What's your initial thoughts on it?
Well, the first 2 times I did racing, I got last place. So every time I play, I use curse words.
Curse words, bad words.
Yeah, but I got like first place once, and every other time's like second place. But anyway, I like it because you have like, reminds me of kind of like Mario Kart, I guess, because you have those chests and you can like sabotage people, and that's like the best part.
Yeah, I think with Chocobo Racing, it was a lot of fun playing it, and it is a lot of fun still playing it. There's lots of little goofy things you can do, and it's not something you can take seriously though. People are going to take Triple Triad, I think, a little bit more seriously because it doesn't have as many downfalls to it. And the downfalls I'm talking about is the sluggish controls. I mean, the controls are supposed to be a little sluggish, but trying to get in certain pieces, like getting those chests, and I know I jump straight into the chest, but I don't get it. Uh, it's just part of kind of the server stuff, I think, that you can't really avoid. But that's the only thing that I saw with it that kind of sucked, is that you can't take it too seriously because you're not going to be able to race professionally if the server's lagging and it's a little bit behind. Do you guys
Yeah.
agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when you're going for those chests, you have to be like extremely pinpoint with it, and it's super annoying. Because sometimes you see yourself that you're on it, but you don't get the item.
Yeah.
Because the server says you weren't on it. I mean, this goes with, like, with dodging AOE, so I guess it's something we can't avoid.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way to avoid it.
And it's probably going to get worse with the higher ranks in the Chocobo Racing, where they start putting obstacles in there as well. So that's something.
I mean, I hope that the servers get a little bit better with it. I can't really expect it though, because there's so many other things for them to focus on besides making the servers for Chocobo Racing good. But that's the only downfall I said to it. That being said, I had a whole lot of fun playing it, even if I was losing. Just going, especially with people I know, and just getting onto a chat with them, like either on TeamSpeak or Skype or whatever it is, and just running around and trying to get them with my thorns or grab-a-balls or hoping I get a meteor to blow them up. That's great. it just reminds me of playing, every Friday night when I was younger, I'd go with my friends to one of their houses and we'd play like Mario Kart or we'll play Melee or something like that. And we're just having fun. No one was really good at it, but it's just a night of fun. And I think that's something you can do that you couldn't really do with Final Fantasy because you'd get really good at all the content and you're not competitive with each other. This is at least something where you're competitive with people and so you can yell and shout and actually get kind of into it. But the other part I wanted to actually talk about is the items. Do you think that the items I think are an essential part of Chocobo Racing right now. Without it, you wouldn't have as much fun as everyone is having with it because people who have really high level chocobos are always going to win. You can't get it lucky. And I think it needs that luck element for it to actually be enjoyable. What do you guys think about it?
Items. You're talking about like the abilities and the
Hmm.
feed.
Yeah,
Well, I think the biggest
the
draw.
ones that you pick up when you're going and the grab-a-balls and meteor,
Oh,
so
those
on.
items. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of them are essential. Some of them can help you out, like with the sprint shoes. That can
Hmm.
help you out if you're like in dead last. Choco Meteor is something that's amazing if you manage to get it. I've only seen it once. I have not seen it anywhere else. I've just like
Hmm.
seen it once.
I haven't
So
seen it yet,
there,
but
I don't know. But some of the items are good. I mean, for some reason or another, I think one of the items has a random effect, but like sometimes when I use it, I end up being heavy for some reason. So I don't know if that's a thing.
yeah. What do you
Of
think,
course, I
Kerr?
don't understand all the items.
Oh,
Wait, first of all, what happens in Chocobo Meteor or Choco Meteor?
Basically, what happens? It drops like an AOE on all the enemies in front of you, and it kind of just like stops them.
That's amazing.
That is, I mean, it's just like you just see like, "Ploop," and then just everyone just stops for like a good second, like it stuns them for a second, and then there you go.
Ah. The only ones I've gotten is Briar, Shoes, and the one that frenzies like the person in front of you.
The Bastion Squine or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, so I don't even know what they really do. I just know sprint shoes help me get to first place, and what was the other one? Yeah, Briar, it was okay.
Briar's kind of fun when you're like just you have a big group of them just hanging around you. And since I run with a row, my Chocobo's so big
Yeah.
that I kind of block everybody in the first place, and so I can just use the Briar, and I'm gonna hit most people that are at the same spot I am, and I love it so much. Uh, but yeah, and
Yeah.
also for a piece, yeah, I'll definitely talk to you about that and see if you want to get something set up. Go ahead, Jack.
No, it's just like with the Briar Patch. It's like it's really good towards the beginning of the race because everyone's just so clumped up together to get that first item. So if you get that Briar, you're gonna hit a lot of people and screw them over, and that's what kind of happened during our races.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone just kind of being clumped up. Someone gets Briar Patch, everyone like loses stamina up to 50%. It's brutal.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are actually really like high up there on Chocobo Racing, I apologize if we sound a little bit ignorant towards it. I've been kind of grinding in Triple Triad, and uh, I love Chocobo Racing, but I know there's some people out there that are max rank and running around being crazy.
I'm pretty sure someone's already breeding them right now.
Oh yeah, Kerr's computer just kind of had a crash, but she's going to come back up here in a little bit. That's all
That's
right.
image. That's image right there.
Yeah. Oh well, she'll be back here in a
There it
little bit. Let me go ahead and fix your screen a little bit there, Jack. There we go. And then I'll turn her off for a second here. Something's going on with it. But anyways, let's keep moving along here. I wanted to also talk about gates with you. And hey, Rava Raju, how you doing? But I wanted to talk a little bit about gates. My experience with them isn't too extensive because there's some of them I don't think are that exciting to really go and look for. Like a skin change we can believe in. Uh, what's the other one? The vase carrying one. For some reason, those
Yeah, face
don't really
off.
excite me. So yeah. But
Well, I mean, they may not sound exactly fun, but I mean, it's a bonus in MGP, so there's something
mhm.
that's still worth doing.
Yeah.
So to that extent, you should still do it. I mean, for a 50 point cash in, and then you like to come back with at least 90 point return. It's
Mhm.
something that's worth doing. And of course, with the base off and the I believe the imp one as well, it just there's like difficulty tiers. Like some get harder, and then the payout is a lot bigger.
Mhm.
Like with base off, you have to either turn in the base into either one, two, or three NPCs. So
Oh man. Like yeah, I do want to play them because I'm sure if I play them, they'll be a lot more interesting. Um, the ones I have been a participant in, and even though it doesn't take any skill, uh, I I love doing the musical chairs one. What was it? Any way to win blows.
I hate that one, but it's just so good. If you win, you're just like that payout is just so good.
Yeah, I I agree. The payout is amazing. Uh, hold on one second.
No problem.
You got me muted.
Yep.
All right, Kerr's on the way back here. Let me fix the screen for a moment. Hopefully, I can figure out what's going on with her computer a little bit later. And if I just stretch it, it should come up almost perfectly there. Okay, perfect. All right. So the ones that I have done again, I like that one because I can actually just sit there and go AFK if I really want to. Usually I run around in a circle and hope I get lucky. And the first time I did it, I got lucky and I won. And you get like a 1600 MGP was how much I got on my first win.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's definitely worth doing. You see it happening, and it happens like it's real quick. So all you got to do is just run over to it and just sit there and hope you get lucky. If you sit like kind of, I don't know, you pick your spot that you think is least likely to be knocked off, and then you'll get a payout if you're kind of lucky with it.
Yeah, I mean it's real luck based, but it has the highest payout of out of all the gates.
Mhm.
And how quick it is. I mean, you'll know whether you win or not. I mean, one hit, you're gone.
Yeah.
But of course, if you win, I mean, you win. That's the biggest payout.
Oh yeah. And I'm not technically the answer to the question. Someone was asking me how I got on this cactar. I'm not really technically on it. I'm on a platform above it, and this is the one where you go save the Chocobo, and they throw bombs on the little areas, and you have to kind of
It's
avoid the bombs.
That's also part of the one of the other gates, which is cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger.
Uh, yeah, cliffhanger, and that's one where you have to rescue the chocobo, El Colosso.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I had fun doing it. Although I'd get so mad because some of the bombs they drop and then you can kind of see they're gonna blow up and you know how to avoid them. You're like I'll wait or I'll move, and then there's the bombs that just drop and blow up immediately.
Yeah, That happened to me the whole time I was trying to get up there. So it's like I'm gonna wait for it to explode. One drops right behind me and explodes. Like, damn. I barely completed it with like less than 20 seconds. So,
I mean, you don't get a lot of points from it. I mean, you get some points. I mean, I think we got it costs a 50 to
180.
get in, and then you get
Yeah,
180. You get 180 from one triple triad win when you play somebody like another player. So it's kind of like it's just more for fun. I can't think of it being real valuable for MGP. Any way to win blows is
hmm
a quick thing you can do to get some MGP real quick. But
yeah. But remember, that's still something that you can lose 50 points
hmm
or at least gain a huge net worth because it's all on luck.
yeah,
There's no way to predict where he's gonna snort.
yeah, there's no way to do it. It's impossible.
Right.
But
So it's literally pick a spot and pray to RNGesus that you're lucky.
yeah, Kerr, have you?
The general strategy is pick the middle.
Yeah, I don't pick the middle. I pick like off to the side, in between the middle and the edge, and that seems to be working the most for me. I almost won my second one that way too, and I went AFK. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I had a friend at AFK too, and he won. I'm like, you mother.
Kerr, have you had a chance
Trying
to
here.
mess with any of the gates?
Just one. One of them was like a comparison one,
Oh
and
yeah,
of course I lost that. But
skin change we can believe in, and that's just such a dorky name. I was hoping they wouldn't go with that name and they would think something else, but they are so punny. So punny.
Eh,
But yeah, I think gates are good. I enjoy them. It's something you're really bored. It's different. You're not going to get an experience anywhere else in Final Fantasy like it. So the next topic I have is Triple Triad, which I have tons of experience in recently. And I've been grinding. I think I'm at 62 cards now, 18 away.
dude, I'm barely like on 23. You need to calm down. You have an issue, okay?
I could have
This
some
is
sort of
sort of like-
addiction, and I just
This is now an
started doing
intervention
it.
for you, Kurt. Kurt, talk attention to him.
I
Please.
can't. It's like
I can't
what was it?
understand.
It's you gotta get them, man. And right now, after 60, it's not so bad because I know I'm gonna have the card limit reduce or increase, so I can have all my 3-star cards now. So it's not as much stress to it, but it's still something I want to do.
You're still like you're tearing this family apart.
Like, you don't even know. Like, before Final Fantasy, or we caught on to Final Fantasy, he was playing lots and lots of Hearthstone.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, wake up, Hearthstone, working, Hearthstone.
Gotta get Hearthstone, and yeah, I love card. I like it because I played StarCraft 2 for a little while, and that's a game that takes 100% of every bit of attention that you have to give. And if you lose a second of concentration, you can lose the match. Hearthstone, you can place a card, turn around and think about things, do whatever you want. Same thing with Triple Triad, although Triple Triad, 30 seconds to place a card is starting to feel kind of rough. Because you have to do all the little calculations in your head and how can they beat me or what's the most secure way to do it.
And depending on the kind of rule sets too, it's just like, okay, out of all the cards that if you can see them, you'd be like, okay, how is he gonna play this card into effect? Do you think he's gonna play this card? Is he gonna put it here? Is he gonna place it there? How can I counter that? It's just like you're calculating so much within that small time frame. It's amazing. I really love it, but at the same time, it's extremely daunting to the people who can't process it all within that small time frame. It's very unique.
And to answer, real quick note, Furpiece thinks it's Golden Saucer as well. So I'm not the only person who's called it Golden Saucer. It's Gold Saucer. But yeah, I got ripped on that earlier. A lot of people were telling. I like Golden just for some reason it makes sense. When you say Gold Saucer, it doesn't feel right. Golden Saucer, because it's a golden saucer maybe, but Gold Saucer, it's I don't know. It just
Only
doesn't
if there's
feel as right.
gold aliens involved will we call it a golden saucer, okay?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Kerr, with Triple Triad, tell me your just initial thoughts on it. I know you've been messing around with it a little bit, and I can hear your frustration every once in a while.
Pretty much sure everything I've done in the Gold Saucer, I swore at. Triple Triad is without exception because I lose a lot. And I didn't get the rules at first. It was funny because I thought like plus rules and combos applied to every single game until this nice man over here told me differently. Since then, I've learned from my mistakes, but I still get frustrated.
I think it's really rough on people who aren't used to Triple Triad because they threw out Triple Triad, and while people are learning it, they throw out tons of these exception rules. And so if you're just getting into Triple Triad, you're going to go crazy because it doesn't all make sense because it constantly changes, and you have to kind of get a grasp on why it constantly changes before you can figure out the game. And yeah, our puppies are running around in the background having a field day, by the way, playing on the stairs. A little background show for you.
I played Final Fantasy VIII. I mean, that's where Triple Triad was originally introduced. I played it very little. I did play Triple Triad just a little bit, but coming into here, it's just like it doesn't give you that much of a tutorial other than place the higher cards, here, and then they give you like a complex worded of the different rule sets. I'm like, You try reading plus, you try reading same. It makes no sense when you're trying to read it. Until
Mhm.
you actually see it, then you can get where you get the idea. Oh, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Luckily, if you actually search triple triad, there's a comprehensive wiki with images that you can look at that will give you a good idea of, okay, this is what the same rule does. This is what the
Uh-huh.
plus rule does. Or you can talk to someone like I have a friend who's extensively played Final Fantasy VIII Triple Triad. He kind of just showed me the ropes. Okay, so like this is what each rule does.
Mhm. And I was actually thinking about doing a super quick tutorial videos on the basics of Triple Triad. Nothing crazy, like just how it works, and then going in step by step. I'm sure someone else is going to hop on that before I hit it, but that's something I want to do because a lot of people are having a lot of frustrations with it, and at least initially. Then after a week or two, they kind of grasp it. But I, fortunately enough, was so excited about getting into Triple Triad that I played on the Flash game they have on a website for months before it came out with Cold Saucer.
So the addiction started before the addiction happened.
Yes,
Okay.
I knew the
Yeah.
addiction was coming, and so I prepared myself to be able to just jump straight on board so it wouldn't be such a crazy high the first time I started playing.
62 cards in, it's not slowing down, is it?
No, I'm gonna go. I think I can get over 70. I'm going for maybe 75 possible before.
And then tomorrow's the tournament, or at least the sign up for the tournament.
I'm not gonna get those cards anytime soon. It's probably gonna happen over the next week or so. But the tournament is gonna be my main focus. As soon as I figure out what the rules are, I'm jumping straight into it. Um, but one thing I also wanted to talk about with Triple Triad was the grind, because I know from personal experience there's a huge grind to Triple Triad, like probably more than like Zodiac weapons almost. I like Kerr said earlier in the stream, took me 150 wins to get Bahamut. I spent 10 hours on that, losing, at least half the time, losing or drawing half the time, and then winning about half the time after I figured it out. And that was rough. Luckily, I got all my cards from NPCs now, so I don't have to grind that way anymore. I just have to do dungeons and stuff. But it's it was pretty rough trying to get all those cards, and a lot of people can get them like that first try, and then the next guy sits for 2 days trying to get one card. But I guess putting it like I'm guessing 0.5% chance drop on some of those cards.
Yeah. Like there was that forum post that I saw on the main forums that's like some guy that had 99 of each of the Guardian cards, except for Gaius, of course.
Yeah.
That just says, yeah, just another day of triple triad. I'm like, wow. And I
Yeah.
can only imagine for other people trying to farm a specific card as well, like for Bahamut.
Mhm.
I mean, some people are like, they have 99 Godbirds at this point,
Yeah.
and still not a single Bahamut Prime Bahamut. And then like some guy comes in here, like some new guy does it. Hey guys, got a Bahamut card, and you're just like,
Yeah, and that's the best thing. As soon as someone gets the card, post it. And so everyone around you that's trying to get it gets infuriated.
yeah,
It's like,
this is what I like to do. I mean, in trials, I just like to say I got the card and just see people just raging. It's hilarious, even if I don't get the card. I just say I got the card, then leave.
yeah, just say to card, don't listen to any of the response. Card, teleport out.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's been pretty exciting, and there's still I think maybe 4 or 5 cards that haven't been found yet, and I don't know if they're just going to be future tournament wins or if they're going to be things that people just maybe second coil or a final coil drops that no one's gotten yet, or something crazy like that.
It's all in turn 3. There's finally a reason to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone go start farming turn 3 right now. I'm sure you'll get Titus from that. Oh my gosh. So the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about with Triple Triad at least is the rules. So like we said, the rules can get really overwhelming and confusing, and there's a lot of rules out there. one of the ones that drives me insane, at least with NPCs, I can kind of work with it when it deals with another player, but when it's with an NPC who has 4-star and 5-star only cards, and they have chaos, I just want to go crazy.
Chaos, I would say random, in my opinion, with at least with the NPCs, for the same reason what you said. Like they have 4-star, 5-star cards.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a small pool of 8 of those same cards, and with you have a pool of 60 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are stacked against you, and then you have someone like what's the NPC called? Landrel, if I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
Where he has like random and fallen ace, so you're just like that works against you.
Yeah, it does. Luckily I have not ran into a random chaos. That would be the absolute worst person that you could ever play.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking about it. It just sounds terrible.
yeah, and random
chaos is already as terrible as it is, and then with throwing random in the mix, it's just no.
Random gets better though. Once you get more cards, you're randoming not just 1-star cards. You're randoming, 2-star, 3-star cards, and you start to get a better mix with your draws. And so that's when I hit like the 30 card mark, and a little bit above that, I could actually start farming people like I think it's Rowena. Am I saying that right?
I guess so.
I don't know. You can correct me if
I'm
I'm
bad
wrong.
with those things.
But I could start farming her a little bit better. And farming, by the way, is maybe not the right term for a lot of these NPCs. I mean, you are farming, but there's not a single NPC. Well, there are some NPCs, but most of the NPCs you're not going to have 100% win rate on. You're going to have 50% at best. And so even if you're really good and you know everything to do, you're still going to lose due to RNG because they have better cards and the rules are ridiculous. The other ones, there's some really order. I think is actually kind of interesting. I like order, and the only reason I'm saying I like order is because you could say, hey, I'm going to plan. These are the 5 moves that I want, and you can just think in your head. I know I'm going to place this down, and when he places something else, this card that I position first is going to help with my second position card, and you can just kind of go through that. So it takes a little bit of thought to it. A lot of people don't like order, but I can kind of get into it, especially if I know what the other guy's order is.
Yeah, I mean, for an NPC, it works really well. I mean, once you figure out the pattern, the cards, you can work with it. Against another player, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but you can still probably come up with something that's going to work in your favor.
Yeah.
Get you guys all strategizing and stuff.
There's a lot of strategy
like
to it. Tournaments tomorrow, so there's lots of things to think about.
Gotta think up those strats.
And the other rule that's really interesting that a lot of people like, because you can beat higher up NPCs with it, is plus rule, because you can use starter cards to kind of fight them. It takes a little bit to get used to, because I know starting out, it took me a little bit to kind of figure out what plus was and what same was and what the differences were. I kind of use plus almost the same way I use same. I would just not exactly the same way, but I try to say, hey, I have 2 6s on my card. There's 2 7s out there. That's an easy add. Plus rule, and I'm done with it. But I think I think those rules are helping a lot of people who can think up to that level, but just has a little bit less cards. Reverse, on the other hand, is wonderful for people who are just starting out because they just have their 1-star cards, right? And so you get all your 1 points out there and you go flip the aces and everything. Oh gosh. The other rules, what are the other rules? 3 open I think is kind of stupid. Because I don't know what 3 cards are open. All open I can deal with because I know he can see all my cards and I can see all his cards. But 3 open, I see 3 of his cards and 2 are hidden, which is okay, but he sees 3 of my cards. But I don't know which 3 he sees. So I don't know how I can work my strategy around that. Oh gosh.
Unless you're streaming your tournament, then I could just look at your hand on the
Exactly. Like I did yesterday. I had to put a little black box over my cards so you couldn't cheat, Jack.
I'm not lying. I did watch the stream, but I did not see your cards whatsoever. Once we were against each other, I literally threw my phone across my room and just like, okay.
I know you didn't see it because I put the black box up.
Well, I didn't know you had a black box to begin with.
Yeah, well.
I know you had a black box, but I didn't know about a black box.
It's fun. I wish that you could uh, do a little bit better with tournaments with streaming it at least. Right now it's kind of hard because you say, hey, you guys play each other, but you can't see them playing. I would love to be able to spectate that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Which I hope they introduce that at some point is a spectator mode for Triple Triad, but we'll see if they start to dig into that. Overall, the rules, I think they kind of put too much out there from the start. They probably should have started off with maybe a handful of rules and went with that, but they kind of just vomited out all these rules and everyone had to try to catch on and figure it out. It's not bad. Right now, I feel pretty confident with it, but Kurt, what do you feel about with all the rules for Triple Triad?
Um, I don't like him because I don't really strategize like you guys. What I do is I just put the card down and then I hope I win.
So, what about you, Jack?
You see, I don't really strategize myself either. I just kind of put the cards down. I don't start strategizing until after I get frustrated with it. Then I say, okay, fine, I will play this game the way you want to. Then I start thinking about it. But when I'm playing against another player, that's when I'm like, okay, that's when I go competitive mode. That's when I'm like thinking strats. I'm thinking, okay, how do I beat this person?
Right. And I like that. I like how there's that strategy to it. Hearthstone, and again, I'm comparing this to like a completely separate IP that's its own game. This is like a game inside of a game, so it's hard to kind of compare the two. But Hearthstone, a game would last, 10, 15 minutes at a normal game. Here, a game lasts 3 minutes, maybe, at most. You got 9 turns, 30 seconds each at max. That's 4.5 minutes as a max tournament or max game, and then eventually most of those games are going to not spend that much time, and it's going to be a 2 to 3 minute game at most. So it's nice for tournaments, I guess, because you just kind of plow through it, but there's not a lot of length to it. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about as well with Triple Triad before we finish up on that is that the tournament starts tomorrow. There's going to be an awesome tournament tomorrow.
The sign up starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know if the tournament's going to happen tomorrow. That's the thing. I mean, like if you go through your tab, it says the sign up is tomorrow. I don't know if that means the tournament's going to happen the next day or on Saturday when they do the other drawing.
Yeah.
I think
it's supposed to go throughout the week, from my understanding. And now,
so sign up, okay, that would make more sense then.
They gave some kind of details from the NPC when you talk to them about it, but it's the same thing with a lot of things with Square Enix. They give a little bit of details, but nothing. You can't really make a lot of solid, conclusions with it. You know that you're going to be able to face NPCs. We don't know if the NPCs are going to be, more worth it than playing players. I imagine it's not, but you're going to be able to face them for your tournament stats, which is kind of weird to me. Then you have players that you can face, and if they're a higher rank, you get more points. But if you're at a higher rank, do you want to face people who have higher ranks, or do you want to face people with lower ranks? So if a lower ranked person challenges you, or you're just going to tell the guy to screw off, and then you're going to go find someone that has a higher rank so you can get more points, because you get a set amount of matches that you can play. You want to get the most value out of it, right? So you want to face higher valued players.
I guess in that perspective, maybe they'll do it into brackets. Maybe they'll have like a system like depending on your rank, you'll place within that tier system. If you're in the lowest end, I mean your points will be calculated into that rank versus higher. I mean if a lower ranked player were to be a higher ranked player, of course they would get the most points available. However, if a higher ranked person were to win against a lower rank, they would get very minimal, probably less than an NPC, or maybe just about as an NPC, making it not worth their time, making them only go against players within their own bracket.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a hassle just to figure out how it works on day one. I'm probably not going to play, unless if it's required daily matches, I'm probably not going to play any matches the first day. I'm just going to sit there, figure it out, figure out what the rules are, and then practice the rules, probably play with you, Jack, or Serdan, and just kind of...
Maybe Serdan, he has more cards than I do, so you'll be able to play with him a little bit, at least with your strat. I'm still working. I'm barely at 24 cards, so I'm on it. I'm working on it.
I want to flesh out all the experience I can before I start putting. And I also want people to get higher ranks so I can play higher ranked players. But
Yeah, because so far it's just going to be the people within that link shell.
yeah, that link shell that we have going on the server, we just kind of fight them for right now. And I'm really curious how this is all going to turn out, and if it's going to be kind of just a cluster, or it's going to be an actual solid tournament. Because it sounds a little bit weird to me. But hopefully they've thought it through. And again, it starts tomorrow, and it lasts, I think, the entire week. So we'll see then. Kerr, are you going to participate in the tournament?
Is this only triple triad?
Yes, this is triple triad.
Nope.
It doesn't hurt you to participate in it.
But see, if I put myself in it, I'm like really impulsive player, right? Well, somebody's gonna see that, and then I'm gonna help them get a step up, right?
How about I just play you, and I'll just play you, and it'll be okay.
Rick's just playing 2 different accounts now. Okay.
Yeah, just create 20 accounts, play them all once, and you'll be okay. Oh gosh, you should probably play in the tournament just to play in it. I know you'll cuss and scream at people, but they can't hear you. I'll hear it though.
If there's a consolation prize for people at least participating in it, I wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm sure there is.
Well, I mean, like I said, let's hope there's at least some sort of consolation prize. If not, it doesn't seem it's going to cater to it's not going to cater to the casuals, to triple triad, mainly the hardcore. Like people is already pretty much decked out.
Mm-hmm.
People already have 60 plus cards at this point.
Yeah.
To me, that's just Rick.
Kerr's shaking her head.
But my point is, there's some people like that, so it's just like either it's going to cater to them, or it's going to cater to the casuals, and that's the thing, or maybe it's going to have a mixture of both.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's kind of like where I know that's what everyone's thinking about the tournament. How is this going to work?
Right.
Is it going to work for the hardcore? If it does, that excludes the casuals. That kind of pretty much kills off a good portion.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, because a lot of people like me are probably around the 30 range, or at least under it, because we don't have as much time or the commitment to farm these NPCs, because some of them are just plain brutal. Because if they have the chaos rule, I'm just like, you're gonna have to pray that it chooses the right cards for you and the NPC to make the wrong moves.
I tell you, man, I spent the NPC that was last for me to get my last card was Swift. He was rough. He's the Chaos GC guy that's in Uldar, and he was rough.
Yeah, from how everyone's been describing him, yeah, I think Swift will be the first one out the door.
Yeah, and I mean, he's in a set time window, so you have to actually try to be there at the right time, and you only have like a set amount of time that you can play him. And then after that, it's you only win like 5 matches if you do good, and then you get no cards out of it. So, yeah, I would say out of all of the NPCs, Swift was the worst. The Imperial was actually the one that you could actually do a 2-star ascension on. Is actually the best one that people are farming constantly because it gives you a lot of points, MGP points, and it's not that difficult. You can get like at least an 80% win rate on them if you can figure out what you're doing.
I think the general strategy for this was like using a Scion deck, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they used the Scion Ascension deck.
Scion if you have 60 or more cards. You use Beastman if you have 30 or more cards.
Okay, Beastman. It's like I've just generally been hearing Scion deck, so I'm like, okay, guess that's something.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, I'm looking into like all these different strategies, because some people are coming up with strategies for each NPC. Like you should use these cards for this NPC. And of course, the ones with randoms, they just basically saying, try to get as many cards you can and pray you get a good hand.
And then again, going back to Swift, when you try to create a strategy, it doesn't exist. Because it's chaos. His cards are random too, what he's going to put down. So you can't build a strategy. You just know what cards he will probably have, but you don't know what order he's going to put them down in. So you can't build a strategy as well off of that. And I would say I got 2 of the cards. I got Ifrit and I got the twins off of Swift, within the first couple of tries. But it took me 10 to 11 goes at it to actually get Raban, or how do you say that?
Raban.
Raban? Okay. So, I don't know. I'm excited tomorrow. Are you excited, Jack, at all for the tournament?
Well, considering I work tomorrow, I'm gonna be at work. I'm gonna be at work. Why am I not at home? Tournaments today.
Yeah.
I call it work. Like, there's triple triad event going on. What's that? It's very important.
Don't worry about it, guys. It's amazing. Just
It's
get a
amazing.
Final Fantasy account and play Triple Triad.
Just go there to work with my PS3 in the break room and play triple triad.
So, the other thing I kind of want to talk about was the Cacpot. Just a real quick note on Cacpots too. The daily Cacpots, you can kind of predict the points, and I don't think it's really hard to lose money on it.
Mm-hmm.
The mini Cacpot, at least. If you have an idea of, basic math, you can probably figure out this is the most likely to give me a certain amount and go for that amount. Because you can only have 1 through 9 once each on those things. So it's not like there's anything that's too risky with getting those. I've been getting them, and I think I got the second place prize at least twice on it. And then I got a couple of 300 ones, which was nothing, but I've never lost money on it yet.
Yeah, me neither. I have not lost. I mean, the general strategy, at least from reading online, what people tend to do is like once they get that one that freebie, they kind of just work around that and they just take a guess. Okay, do I want to go this way? Then they use 2 of them just to see where where they.
So basically, you try to get 3 corners in the middle, and that kind of gets you where you need to go. Or at least that's what's been working for me. And Curtis adjusted the camera for the puppies for the viewers so they can see the little puppies.
I want a puppy cam.
Look at them, they're adorable.
You can kind of see one of them laying down a little bit. Well, with that, the Jumbo Cacpot, it's unlikely you're ever going to win that. There's a 1 in 10,000 chance each time, but there's a 1 in 10 chance you'll get a consolation prize that's kind of good. 1 of 100 chance you'll get the next consolation prize. And Scout, little punk dog.
Distraction.
Adorable.
Adorable.
But from the calculations that you can do with the Jumbo Cactpot, even though you're not winning money off of it or a lot of money off of it, the percentages of winning far outweigh the cost. So it's more, if you just keep going at it, you're more than likely always going to get your money back. As long as you win once or twice. And you just keep going, eventually you'll get the amount out of it that's actually your initial investment, at least. The other thing with this patch that's been pretty big, that's a lot of people, whether if they weren't doing gold saucer stuff, they were doing the Zodiac weapons. And it's a lot easier than I was expecting them to do. So, I mean, most people get it done within a day or 2 if they're grinding hard at it. I haven't started it yet because I'm still working on my initial light. I'll get my 115 weapon soon enough, I'm sure. But I would say it is probably just a victory lap. There's nothing really too crazy about it. Jack, have you worked on your Zodiac at all?
For my ninja, I'm still on my books.
Okay.
For my warrior, I'm still on the Alex materia section. I'm like 30 mils deep into it. So I mean, if I wanted to, I could probably finish that off. If I did my dailies and spent my soldieries on the maps, I could probably do my warrior. But I hardly play it, so it's kind of just like, eh. But I have all the materials set up for my warrior, just sitting there on my retainer, that it just feels like it's gonna be a waste if I just let it sit there.
I mean, it's going to be a waste when it hits 3.0. I mean, what are you going to use it for at 3.0? Except for maybe it'll help you get towards the next part of the advancement for Zodiac if they keep it running.
Here's
3.0.
the thing, from what everyone's been saying, you need this the Zeta to continue the relic chain come 3.0. You need the relic at that stage to continue.
it's hard for me to think that they're going to require it. I'm sure it's going to help, but someone that's new to the game coming in 3.0, you don't want to put them through Fates, Atma, Books, Light.
Well, maybe it'll get easier. Maybe they'll just down the book amount if they were smart. Like maybe one, maybe three. I would say three seems like a good stopping point.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah,
But
I mean, relics were always optional though. Like,
yeah.
you don't have to do them if you don't want. You can always get like the primal weapon. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, there's always that alternative. I mean, when you think about it, the alternative here at this current iteration is the match tech weapon. And of course, the only way to get it right now is through Final Coil.
Yeah.
And the way to upgrade it, and now you can upgrade it through the World of Darkness weekly. So there's that.
Yeah.
So no longer do you have to like pray you actually, or if people are struggling with the T12 to get the twine, you pass that around.
I think that's pretty good now. You have to be, for the last few months, you had to get the T12 to get that weapon at all. And of course, it went to all the DPS. So if you're a tank or a healer, after you get the T12, you're looking at 1 to 2 months before you can even see that weapon. But
that's brutal for them.
I know Kerr has actually spent a lot of time working on her weapon and getting that upgrade. Are you kind of excited that they gave just a victory lap for the last relic, or are you kind of disappointed that it seems a little bit too easy now?
Well, every time they came out with relic, it'd be a couple of eye levels below what you could get in coils or something like that. Well, now that you can basically have your stats and the eye level, I think it's a lot better. So I do like it.
Yeah. If I just seriously have an issue with spending the time on it, even though I waste all of my time on Triple Triad, spending time on a relic just seems really hard for me.
Imagine if you spent this much time onto the relic, you probably would have been done with it.
Oh, I'm sure I'd have my 135 relic.
You'd be at least a lot closer to it if you spent that much time and effort. But instead, you spent it on Triple Triad, and you're now at 62 cards.
And now I'm going to win the tournament, right? So it's okay. It'll work out for me.
Nah, you're going to lose to this guy.
Oh, okay. I'm going at you, Jack. I'm going to beat you down just because you said that. I'm going to play every match against you.
We're going to play with chaos rules only.
Yeah. A lot of
chaos random.
Well, a lot of people with the Zodiac weapon, they were kind of complaining that the mechanic for upgrading it was just a recycled mechanic that they used for light. And so there's not really, people aren't really too impressed by it. Although, do we really need another inventive mechanic for just a simple grind? I mean, that's all it really is a grind, a way of making you grind. And I think light was a great idea because it didn't exclude a lot of things. It included multiple things you could do. So I'm actually really happy in that regards that they kept it something that you can go and just gain light from whatever you want to gain light from.
I don't understand. Did people want something like more hard or like what? Because this is
they could have put in more books if you guys wanted.
No,
that's what everybody wants. More books.
I hate it having to do like in the last chain where you had to do one dungeon multiple times and hope you got a drop at the end of it. The thought of that drove me insane. This sounds okay though.
Yeah, that was for the for the 25 version of the weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to pray that you actually get the drop and man.
Yeah. Well, enough of that. Enough of patch notes and everything. I want to actually go into just a couple bits of news that I have. One is congratulations Final Fantasy for 4 million players that are registered players, or registered accounts. That's about half of what WoW's at right now. Maybe a little bit more than that at their current state. So that's crazy. The last time they reported it at the end of the year was 2.5 million. Now they're at 4 million. They gained 1 million or 1.5 million players, registered accounts added into the game. What do you think about that, Jack? Such a huge jump.
That's a lot of numbers.
It's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of money for Final Fantasy. They probably got a good amount of dough out of that. Kerr, what are you thinking about with the recent spike of new players that are playing? Because this is actually new players. These aren't just new accounts, I think.
Well, it's interesting because I'll be like farming for my relic, and then it's obviously you've got a whole team that's kind of new to like Titan hard mode, and here I am just carrying them, and they're all like dying. But I think it's kind of cute because you can like teach them like mechanics and such.
There's sprouts for
Cute.
days out there. It is cute.
All I can say is, first of all, that bonus. I mean, out of every single time I've done trials or at least dungeons, there's
Mhm.
always been that bonus.
Yeah, recently,
Which
definitely.
is, yeah, recently it's really good, and plus with that free weekend. Oh, not free weekend, free week.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It says free weekend on
It's,
their website, but this is a free week.
yeah,
So,
it's free week. So they're lying. It's not a free
Mhm.
weekend. It's a free week. So there's that bonus all around from them, then from the new players. So I mean, to the veterans, that's, I mean, if you want to use the soldier for whatever reason, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to me, it's actually kind of fun that more people are joining, and I think this is a good point to jump in with 3.0 on the horizon,
Yeah.
especially, and also with the introduction of the gold saucer. I mean, there's actually something for the DPS to do while they wait for their queues.
Yep. I think Square Enix perfectly timed this. I don't know if it was some mass Yoshida just like worked up and he's like, this is when Gold Saucer needs to hit the ground. We need this to go live a few months before 3.0 so we can get all these new players in here and so they can get accumulated and get to the point where they need to be ready just for the expansion when it comes out. And they'll be level 50 or whatever. He knew exactly when to start getting players in. And they're going to play over the next few months before they start to get, bored of the game, right? And that's the problem. A
And
lot of people grind really hard and they maybe get bored after a week because they beat Final Coil within 2 weeks and they don't know what else to do. Us, we're taking our time with it because I'm in no hurry to clear it, but it's still fun to work on T13. I don't think that clearing it before the expansion, or clearing it, uh, months before the expansion comes out is really that important. Just clearing it in general is, but I don't know. I really am. I'm happy there's a lot of new players coming out, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed by it because I know there's going to be a lot of new players out there that are going to make Titan hard mode when I'm farming cards really hard.
well, I mean, if only it's like maybe one or two people, it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're both your tanks or you're both your heals, it's gonna be an issue.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a lot of people at this point are going to just be carried at in game, and they won't actually know what it is. And
Yeah, they don't get to go through the struggle that we did when they was first introduced. Because being Titan hard mode back in the day, that was an achievement. Getting your relic, that was an achievement. When you had it, you know that person struggled to get that done. They put in the time, they put in the effort to learn to fight, and it showed. Same thing with Coil as well. I mean, that was. I mean, now people are just like with the gear that we have now, people can just pretty much just bomb. You just know just shit. Lost my train of thought. They can just just go through it without any thought or reason.
Right.
They don't have to think. The gear pretty much carries them.
Yeah.
Most people won't have that struggle that we did when we first went through it, which is a huge loss to the community because they don't get to experience that.
And it was a great part.
And the same thing with the story, the two story dungeons, the Praetorium and Castrum.
Mm-hmm.
You have too many people speed running through that the new players they can't see the cutscenes.
Or
you have a bunch of people just saying skip cutscenes. You can watch in the end. Just like let them watch. I mean.
Yeah, just let them go. I mean, I wanted to watch it when I first
you were
went.
at some point, and we were just like we wanted to see that cutscenes, and those were fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And the boss fights were fun at the same time as well. I mean, at least at that point in time.
Yeah.
Come Coil, that was a whole different ball game.
I agree. And I hope that the veterans welcome these new players a good bit when they're coming because we do need these more people in the game for this game to keep going, right? We can't just stay stagnant. I mean, we could, but Final Fantasy is a game that deserves to be high up on the MMO board, and I think right now it is. And WoW is one of those games that's ready to die, and playing it once a week, it's so hard for me to play it. And it's sad because WoW is a great game when it first came out. It was wonderful, but it's just hitting that point to where you log on, and it doesn't feel like you're playing an MMO anymore. It's not that fun. Here you have a community, and I love that. That's what makes me want to play the game.
Well,
So,
we found community because sometimes the community can be very toxic and very unfriendly,
of course.
especially when it comes. Yeah, but of course that could be said for any community. You're gonna have like that angry neighbor that's just like, get off my lawn.
No, yeah, and still the point is there's a community there. And WoW, you don't care about who you're playing with. You go and look for a group that's on 20 different servers and they log off and they never see you again. They don't care if they upset you or if they play bad or they don't hold up to what you think their expectations should be as a DPS or a tank or a healer, because in the end it doesn't really matter. They just kind of get carried through whatever, and they do the easiest content because you can beat all of the bosses in that game being carried without any thought to it. So,
Mhm.
so sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there. I'm very happy about new players coming to the game, and I hope they put in new servers to accommodate for that. And that's not just a spurt where we just hit the spike of 4 million, then we just start sloping down. I hope when we hit 3.0, we're hitting 5, 6 million at least. But
Maybe. I mean,
we'll see.
they're doing a whole lot come 3.0, so I don't see why not. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they'll keep the veterans, entertained even longer. It's like 3.0, new stuff to do.
Yeah.
New people, like people now who are at least joining, they'll be entertained too. It's just like, oh, cool, the expansion, like even more stuff to do because they're still fresh off the boat. And then,
Yeah.
then you'll have even newer people. They're just like, wow, this looks actually pretty cool. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And it's also available on a wide range of systems. It's on PS3, which
Mm-hmm.
is relatively cheap. And then I mean, so the cost of entry can be very very low. So like if you can't afford a PC or afford to build one, PS3, it's a decent option.
Yeah.
People will probably laugh at you.
You're the
Don't
only PS3 player I know that says positive things and is content with it, man. But I'm
Dude,
sure.
I am. I mean, it has its issues. I mean, not gonna lie. I mean, like pop ins, like maybe like 10 people to 20 people max that you see on
Mm-hmm.
screen. But I mean, I'm doing fine. I mean, I'm here in Final Coil Turn 13 on a PS3, so it's doable.
Right.
People who say otherwise, they're lying or they just spoiled by the PC master race. But I mean, but my point is here is that the cost of entry to 14 is very low. Anybody can get into it.
That's
There's the
true.
PS3, there's the PS4, and again, if you can afford a PC, there's that too, and that will open you up to even more games.
And
Is
if you
what I
play on low
recommend.
quality, it's not that this isn't that demanding of a game on low quality. You can still play it. Uh, I would say if you had a computer that was 3 to 4 years old, you're good to play this game. So,
Mhm.
okay. Well, the other bit of news that I have for us tonight is the PAX East. That is going to be on March, or it will be this coming weekend. And Final Fantasy XIV, Yoshida will be there Saturday, March 7th at 12 p.m. Eastern to talk about Heaven's Ward. So maybe we'll get some new exciting news about Heaven's Ward. Maybe a little bit more details on the classes. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to get out of that. What do you think, Jack, that they would have to present us about Heaven's Ward at this point?
Well, possibly the collector's edition, maybe a little bit more info that you can start placing pre-orders, at least on that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I mean, again, probably more information, possibly on like the new Beastmen that they're gonna introduce there.
Yeah.
Like more info on that. Maybe they'll introduce factions or something, something that we don't know about. There's
Right.
always that possibility because I mean it's an expansion. Who knows what's gonna happen?
I hope
Maybe
they do.
maybe new housing in Heaven's Ward if that's a thing. But again, that would. But I'd just say like no, please don't.
Yeah. I mean, I want
But
some new information about it. And I hope they do release some new information about it and don't just kind of harp on the information they already have.
yeah.
But
But I don't think they'll do that. I mean, so far every time they've done this, it's always been like they always introduce something new. I mean, look at FanFest. They had like 3 different FanFests that they went to, and they always introduced something new.
Yep.
Well, and like they still played what they had already told, but they expanded. So I don't see them. I still see them like expanding from what they showed us.
Mm-hmm. And with that, at FanFest, they planned all that out, how they were going to release all the content, or talk about the content, and they wouldn't even play us the Shiva song. We were asking them to play the Shiva song, but they said no, you got to go play Shiva. Then they give it to people in London. Kind of upset about that, but it's okay. They told them not to play it, and they didn't want to put that out. But yeah, they have this plan, and they want to know exactly when they release all this information. And I'm sure they have something for us.
And speaking of which, I mean, no surprise, but Shiva is going to be the primal for PAX. So
yeah,
practicing.
Exactly.
Run that out there for the people that actually go to it.
People in Boston are going to Boston. Yeah. Kerr, what do you think about what information they might release over at PAX East? Do you have any idea?
No.
No. What would you want them to release if they were going to release new information about Heavensward? What's something that you would want them to say?
Well, I don't know if they already talked about this, but I kind of want to know more about the collector's edition for Heavensward.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people seem really interested about that because, the collector's edition here gave you that fat Chocobo mount, and that alone was reason enough to get the collector's edition for the original game.
But the fat Chocobo wasn't introduced until much later into Final Fantasy XIV. It was added. Yeah, they added it once the PS4 support.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that now.
When it first came out, all it really was the Coral mount, the Warrior of Light helmet, and Behemoth Van Minion. That's all it came with. Oh, and of course, like
they keep expanding.
Soundtrack if you got the and they expanded it once PS4 came out, which was the fat Chocobo mount, best mount in the game, bar none.
Yeah.
And the Minion Moogle.
Mm-hmm.
Moogle Minion Moogle.
One of those. Yeah.
But they added those two, so at least they expanded upon it. And then of course come this collector's edition for Heavensward. It's a Griffin flying mount. I'm not too excited about that per se, but it's something. They're throwing another mount. The Cecil the Cecil helmet. That's pretty cool for Dark Knights. That's pretty cool. It came in again more Final Fantasy IV stuff.
Yeah.
So there's that. And I think that was it for in-game stuff. I think they were going to do more, but that's all they released for information-wise. So they might do another land mount because the Griffin is flying. They might do another land. So there's that, and possibly whatever else they want to throw in.
I honestly would want to hear more information about Gold Saucer, as funny as that is. I want to know how Gold Saucer applies in 3.0. What cards are they going to release? They already released wonderful cards. What else are they going to be able to pull out of their hat? What events? Maybe they'll add more events to Gold Saucer, or they'll add more to Chocobo Racing. That would be interesting, but I don't think they would release that information yet. Maybe a little bit too early.
No, I mean, because they did say they're going to release more cards with each patch, or at least with each iteration. So I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, it seems fairly balanced now, so it's only going to get more and more complex as we go on.
Yeah, and when they release these new cards, I kind of want to know what the incentive is other than just collecting it, because your cards are still going to be good, and you can still compete with all the cards you already have. Or are you going to say, hey, I have to have these cards because I know they're better overall, and then you have tons of people who have these cards because they're new and they're better than the old cards, so it wouldn't make sense that way either. So I want to know how that aspect's going to work out, and if they're just going to have, it's going to be like a cosmetic thing. I want to have the cards to have the cards. So,
I mean, to me that is the larger appeal. I mean, collecting. I mean, I'm a minion collector. I like collecting minions, and then they're throwing another thing that you can collect stuff. That is something also up my alley. I mean, Triple Triad just happens to be fun at the same time, so it's a wombo combo there.
Yeah. Do you think they'll release any information about crafting?
Crafting? Well, I mean, come 3.0, yeah. I mean, crafting is pretty big here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the cost of crafting, or at least getting to the master crafting, it's expensive. The amount of materials, the melds, the armor, even you spend your beastman daily just on the ixals alone, mainly
Yeah.
for the oak knots and for the materials you get from it. It's pretty ridiculous.
Hmm.
But come
Well,
crafting, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they're gonna just do the usual: more armor, more glamour outfits, just the usual stuff they've been doing now. I don't see much change to the formula. They may throw in a new profession here or there, but I don't know what they can really do. Maybe along with the choco breeders or something.
Kerr, I know you're really into crafting, and you've spent a lot of time on crafting. You can give me that face, but I know you like it. Tell me what you would hope they would announce for the expansion in regards to crafting. Can you think of anything that you would want that's missing from crafting right now?
Crafting needs new accessories, so hopefully they come out with some.
Uh, Lost you.
Whoops.
Yep, there.
So I'd like to see eye level 70 accessories for crafting, because right
Mhm.
now I think we're just stuck on like um,
The eighth art rings are
15.
still there.
What?
The eighth art rings.
Yeah, the Aetheryte rings are still there, and I'm still using those. So, any update?
I haven't done hardly any crafting, so it's hard for me to comment on it at all. But I don't know. They might have already announced that they're not going to introduce any more crafting of the land or crafting of hand or disciples of hand, disciples of the land. But if that's not true, I hope that's something that they do release. What other crafting professions could they release at this point?
I think they've got it
Really
all.
don't know. Yeah, I mean, unless they decide to throw in a new through a new equipment slot, they'll do something for that, like sub
Hmm.
equipment or something of the like. But as of now, there's probably no real reason for them to add a new crafting profession at all. Same thing for Disciples of Land. There's not much
Hmm.
they can do.
Well, if I had to guess, going forward with the conversation about PAX, if I had to guess what they were going to introduce as information, it's going to be the new raid, and they're going to give more details on it.
I totally forgot about the raid. That's
Yeah.
Uh, Alexander.
Yeah, and then maybe show some shots of it or something of that and just expand upon what they've already said with it. And that would be interesting for me to hear because I would like to know if they're going to try to do the same kind of concept here where they just have, another tier, and it's just like you're climbing uh, a giant ball, I guess is what we're climbing, aren't we?
Yep.
Ah, no.
I would.
Thing. It's a giant primal. It's a giant primal.
Yep. And another interesting note about them at PAX East is they have a huge booth. They actually, I think, have the largest single booth with Microsoft next to them with two big booths. So Microsoft has more space overall, but they have a lot of room over at PAX East. And I think that's mainly to do with the Shiva battles that they're going to do and the space they have to put out for all the computers and everything. But I'm kind of interested if they're going to do anything else with it. I'm sure that's all it's going to be. And on that note, the people who win it, I'm not going to PAX East, but if you guys win the Shiva battle, that's nothing. My shirt with Odin is going to be so much better than your shirt with Shiva. So
Your shirt
there you
with
go.
Odin was nothing either.
I went in and we figured out the strategy on day one. Here you already know the strategy.
But you
Well,
know
here's
what?
the thing. A lot of people's strategy for Odin, at least what they told me, there was no strategy. Ignore all the mechanics.
Eh,
Count Odin, you'll win.
Oh,
That's
you
all they
had to
had.
try. You had to do something. I don't know.
From the way people were describing it, they didn't put no effort into it.
It was rough. It was a DPS check because you were using, preset gear and everything. So it was just a tight DPS check, and you one tank did, and the other
Well,
tank had to know how to DPS. So
I guess if the DPS and the other tank knew how to pull out their DPS, I guess that's something.
yeah, and uh, I saw a handful of people waiting in that long line 3 or 4 times to beat Odin. We fortunately did it the first time, but I don't know. I'll be biased. And then you could silence, yeah, you could silence Inlinger or whatever you call it.
Hollander,
Erlinger. Yeah.
Hinger, I don't know. Fuck, it's I don't know. Words.
Words. So that's pretty much all the news I've ran into recently. There is not a lot of other things that were released. It could be because everyone who does have that information is busy playing Gold Saucer. and doing triple triad.
I mean, the only biggest thing right now is Gold Saucer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the thing that people were looking for since Come 2.0. That's
Hmm.
what people were asking for. Now that we're here, it's just like now that it's finally here, people are just excited. People are
Hmm.
triple triad. Again, that seems to be the biggest draw. Chocobo Racing, it's there, so people who want to, race, it's there for them. I mean, it's
Yeah.
competitive itself, but it doesn't seem to have the same allure as triple triad for whatever reason.
I
Like,
love that Gold Saucer brought competition to the game. I felt like, I mean, there's some competition with PvP, but people aren't really that excited about it because there is no real balance to it. This game's mainly based on PvE stuff. But Triple Triad and Gold, and not Gold Saucer, but Triple Triad and Chocobo Racing are two things that people can just scream at each other and try and to beat each other with. And I love that. We didn't really have too much of that besides the PvP, which people you can go in and try your hardest, and it doesn't matter. It's just a mass of people just trying to hit each other with 1, 2, 3. That's usually what it turns out to be. Do you have any closing thoughts on what we're talking about, Jack? Anything lingering?
gotta collect them all.
Gotta collect them all. Yeah, I know your feeling. I know it by heart.
I think again, you have the issue here.
There's people out there who have 70 cards, man. I
They also
gotta
have to
say,
choose.
You
Either they're A, really lucky,
need to
or
go like triple triad anonymous or something.
TTA,
I had a nominate.
triple trend. Okay. Well,
New free company, Triple Triad Anonymous.
that would work. I'm sure someone's going to make it as soon as they hear us say that. I'm sure it's already being worked on right now.
They're
Kerr,
working at it this week.
Kerr, do you have any closing thoughts on tonight? Anything that we talked about?
No.
No. I feel like we fleshed out a good bit about it. There's only a few things lingering with Gold Saucer that hasn't been explored, and that's really the last couple of points and the couple of cards in Triple Triad. And most people, I don't think, are at a high rank with Chocobo Racing. But it's going to be fun. I'm going to try to spend some time on that this week after I lose the tournament. I mean, win the tournament. After I win all my matches, get high on that rank
Get
board.
that lightning card.
Yeah, get the lightning card. It's a ridiculous card. So again tonight I have Jack Green who joined us. Wonderful man. You've been here for every Mog Talk so far.
So far, we'll see if we can keep this going.
Yeah, it'll be a sad day if you can't make it. And I have Kerberos. Go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
I'm just saying, it's gonna happen one day. I'm not gonna show up one Mug Talk.
And then we'll just cancel Mog Talk that night.
No, it's okay. Just put puppy in my
Oh,
place.
put the puppy cam up. I'll buy another cam and we'll put it up there for him. Kerr, I appreciate you coming, Kerberos, my wonderful healer in my static, and my girlfriend if you watch. My hand, if I can reach. I can't. Hold on. It's right there. And if you want to know the puppies, if Kerr wants to get her cam, I don't know if she can adjust it to show the puppies. I can introduce those as well. Real quick before we close. Oh, well, she's offering food. So we're going to see Scout for sure. This is Scout, one of our golden retrievers. Both of these guys are brothers. And there's Frosty poking his little head around. Oh, he's being really aggressive. So Frosty is the white one, which, no, he doesn't control the stream. I know it's Frosty TV, but he doesn't control it. I just looked at him and I knew that this dog was Frosty, though. And then you got Scout here. He's a good little dog, needs attention. And then we call Frosty the princess dog because he whines all the time. And he howls in his sleep and feels like we need to cater towards him. So that's our wonderful dogs who will probably join us on most of our Mog Talks just because they're here. Yeah. But anyways, if you guys have any suggestions for the stream, anything that I can change to make it better, if you have anything that you want to help with the stream, please let me know. I'm more than open to any new ideas as well. You can contact me through YouTube, through Twitch TV, Twitch Frosty_TV. Then also my Reddit account when I have this posted up there for you guys to see. And I appreciate everyone who has helped me critique it from my post that I have there. And this is still an ongoing project that we're making. And yeah, Gilly, hopefully I can get you to join up here with me, and then we can have a Mog Talk with you on here. I'm always looking for somebody to talk with me on Mondays. We do this every Monday, usually starting around 9:30 Eastern. And we do that once a week, and then I do other streams throughout the week, whether it's Final Coil Progression or it's Party Finder Live, where I just join random parties, whatever it is. But feel free to contact me. I appreciate you guys all watching tonight, and you guys have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.
Bye.